We are live. I'll let you know in a second. We'll call the June 26th Gold District 2534 meeting to order. All members are present, and we have let's see, three staff and 3 guests in the audience, or 3 administration, I should say. Tracy, I believe, you count as administration. Cool. So,
Not every day.
with that, then we'll do the pledge of allegiance. Please stand. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved, Hopeful.
Jim?
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved by member Buckle and seconded by member Johnson to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we'll move to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The agenda is approved as published. Recognition of visitors to the board. I did that as we did roll call, so thank you all for coming tonight. With that, I'll read the mission statement, which is to provide all learners in the Bold community an education designed to develop the creativity, character, confidence, and skills essential to flourish in a changing global society. With that, we'll move on now to item 5 on the agenda. That's our public forum. And the public forum is placed on the agenda for our regular board meetings. During this part of the school board meeting, time is allowed for the district constituents to address the school board. Pursuant to policy 206, section 6, the board will make every effort to allow district constituents to speak, but may limit discussion to ensure all business is addressed for the interest of the district. And this is a time of listening by the school board. Is anyone present willing or wanting to address the board? Okay, we will move on to item number 6, which are our consent items. We only need one motion to approve all the consent items. Any item that's requested to be removed from consent agenda by a school board member will be discussed and acted on for independent consideration immediately following approval of the consent agenda. And we have 2 items. Item A is approved bills for payment, and those are in your packet. And the second is to approve our minutes of the May 22nd, 2023 regular meeting.
So
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by Jacobs.
Hello.
Member Jacobs to approve the consent items. There shouldn't be any discussion as that's it. So we'll, unless there's.
I got a couple of questions that I didn't get to Amy before the meeting on. There's one here, the iFly. What is that? A STEM field?
It's a field trip that we sponsored through the YMCA that was used with summer field trip money from ESSER funds.
Good, okay. Where'd they go? What'd they do?
So
I fly in Minneapolis, they went and they got like 2 flies, they took like 30 kids and
I fly it, it's indoor skydiving.
I believe you're.
Oh, really?
I took my nephew there
Fun.
years
Really?
ago, and it is so cool.
Oh.
They give you instruction on, and it's a big fan that just blows up, and it's amazing to watch these people do this. So they had a lot of fun. It's in Maple Grove. Well,
Oh.
worth even just going to watch it.
There's pictures on Facebook of the field trip.
Oh.
And then the Science Museum, that must have been the same thing.
Same thing.
Good deal.
That's
Okay, I
awesome.
like that. I think that's the only. Office tiki chairs, what was that?
I believe that was a grant that is on the bottom of your sheet, that you got a grant. On the bottom of your agenda, there's a gifting grant
Okay,
from Education Minnesota, something that went to the egg classroom. She applied for a grant and received it for breastfeeding in the classroom.
what's a tiki stool? What does it look like?
It's probably like a wobbly chair or something,
Oh.
I'm not sure.
Okay,
She, when I had the ag advisory meeting, I could cover that under there, but I'll answer now. It's a chair designed, kind of for the ADHD for movement, where it's kind of bouncy ball in the back. And it doesn't allow the crazy
Oh.
movement, but it's a little more fixed in place, but more comfortable for those kids.
that's basically, that's all I have.
Okay, any other questions by other board members? Okay, then we'll move to vote on our consent items. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The consent items approving the bills for payment and approving the May 22, 2023 regular meeting minutes are been approved. All right. Personnel. So we have 10 items here under personnel. The first one, approve Heidi Gross as the interim student council advisor for the first semester of the 2023 through 2024 school year.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Buchtel to approve Heidi Gross as the interim student council advisor for the first semester of the 2023 through 2024 school year. Any discussion?
I just have a quick question. Why is it just the semester?
So she's taking over the first half of the year for Christina
Oh, sure.
Svoboda. Leave.
Thank you, Heidi.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to vote. Because this is a higher, we'll do a position, we'll be doing a roll call vote. So member Sheehan,
Aye.
member Jacobs,
Aye.
member Benson,
Aye.
member Bowen.
Aye.
Member Johnson.
Aye.
And member Buchtel.
Aye.
And I need to vote as well, so I'm an aye as well. So motion carries and is approved to hire Heidi Gross as the interim student council advisor for the first semester of the 2023 through 2024 school year. Second item is to approve hiring Isabella Gasca as a summer preschool helper for summer 2023.
So moved, Benson.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved by member Benson and seconded by member Johnson to approve hiring Isabella Gasca as a summer preschool helper for summer 2023. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. Again, we'll be doing a roll call vote. I need to just do this in order. Buchtel,
Aye.
member Johnson.
Aye.
Member Bowen, member Benson.
Aye.
Member Jacobs.
Aye.
And member Sheehan.
Aye.
And member Frank, I'm an aye as well. So that's all our aye. It's unanimous to approve hiring Isabella Gasca as a summer preschool helper for the summer 2023 summer 2023. Okay, third item, approve hiring Madeline Riddler as a summer preschool helper for summer 2023.
So moved, Buchtel.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Buchtel and seconded by member Bowen to approve hiring Madeline Riddler as a summer preschool helper for summer 2023. Any discussion or questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to vote. Roll call vote. Member Sheehan,
Aye.
member Jacobs,
Aye.
member Benson,
Aye.
member Bowen.
Aye.
Member Johnson,
Aye.
member Buchtel.
Aye.
And member Frank is an aye as well. The motion carries unanimously to approve hiring Madeline Riggler as a summer preschool helper for summer 2023. Item 4, approve hiring Allison Precht as a summer preschool helper for summer 2023. Is there a
I'll
motion?
make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved by member Johnson and seconded by member Benson to approve hiring Allison Precht as a summer preschool helper for summer 2023. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to do our roll call vote. Member Buckle.
Aye.
Member Johnson.
Aye.
Member Bowen.
Aye.
Member Benson.
Aye.
Member Jacobs.
Aye.
Member Sheehan.
Aye.
And member Frank is an aye as well. So the motion carries unanimously to approve hiring Allison Precht as a summer preschool helper for summer 2023. All right, item 5, approve the resignation of Ben Lagergren as the junior high track coach effective at the end of the 2022 through 2023 school year.
So move Benson.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Benson and seconded by member Sheehan to approve the resignation of Ben Lagerin as the junior high track coach effective at the end of the 2022 through 2023 school year. Any discussion or questions? Okay, as this is a resignation, we just need to do a voice vote together for and against. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to approve the resignation of Ben Langergan as the junior high track coach effective at the end of the 2022 through 2023 school year. Item 6, approve the resignation of Elsa Shea as the assistant varsity dance coach at the end of the 2022 through 2023 school year.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Jacobs to approve the resignation of Elsa Shea as the assistant varsity dance coach at the end of the 2022 through 2023 school year. Any questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll proceed with a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to approve the resignation of Elsa Shea as the assistant varsity dance coach at the end of the 2022 through 2023 school year. Item number 7, approve Emma Burkett as an elementary teacher for the 2023 through 2024 school year. Is there a motion?
So moved. Bookto.
A second?
Johnson.
It's been moved by member Buckle and seconded by member Johnson to approve Emma Burkett as an elementary teacher for the 2023 through 2024 school year. Any discussion or questions? Okay. Hearing no more discussion, we'll move to do a voice vote. Member Buckle?
Aye.
Member Johnson?
Aye.
Member Bowen?
Aye.
Member Benson?
Aye.
Member Jacobs?
Aye.
Member Sheehan?
Aye.
And member Frank is an aye as well. It's unanimously approved to hire Emma Burkett as an elementary teacher for the 2023 through 2024 school year. Item 8, approve Chris Baker as an English teacher for the 2023 through 2024 school year.
I'll make a motion.
Second by anyone?
Second.
It's been moved by member Johnson and seconded by member Sheehan to approve Chris Baker as an English teacher for the 2023 through 2024 school year. Any discussion or questions? Okay, hearing none, we will proceed to a voice vote. Member Buckle?
Aye.
Member Johnson?
Aye.
Member Bowen?
Aye.
Member Benson?
Aye.
Member Jacobs?
Aye.
Member Sheehan?
Aye.
And member Frank is an aye as well to approve Chris Baker as an English teacher for the 2023 through 2024 school year. Okay, item 9, approve Katie West as the student success interventionist for the 2023 through 2024 school year.
I'd like to make a motion to put this on hold until we can see the job description and what you gave her that she's going to be doing. And when we like to see that.
we've had this,
Yeah, I
Didn't we
thought we
already
got that
vote?
from Brett.
Well, I know,
Yeah.
but has any of that changed? What did you give her as a job description?
She could be working with, she's been working with grades 5 through 9,
Doing what?
academic and behavioral interventions.
Okay. Could we table it just for 1 month so we could just look over? Because
well, we
I'm
need to
just
post the
curious.
position. It's a big problem. I wish, if I would have known ahead of time, we would have gotten that all emailed out, but we've got to
Haven't
post
you
the
given it?
position.
To us, like her.
Well, I thought
Not an
we did a while ago.
well, don't you give them like
I
an
don't
exact
remember.
job description when they come in here?
would just-
Like, these are things that we expect you to do? I mean, just an interventionist, what does that all mean to someone coming in?
So
You know, if I was applying for the job, I'd be like, okay, that's great, but
there
what do you
was-
expect from me is what I'm asking.
There was a motion on the table and I have not heard the second to the motion.
What was the motion?
To put it on
The motion
hold.
the table is to put the student success interventionist hiring on hold until a job description is provided to the board.
Okay.
I made the motion.
Okay. Could I just add to that? I'm just curious too, even if it's just for 1 month, I'd just like to see too how she's going to interact or how that works with each grade. One person for so many grades on a daily. I'm just curious what they're expecting of her too. I guess I don't think that's so bad to see that. So I second that motion, if that's what you need. But I'm just curious too, just to be a little more specific as to why or what her duties will be.
Okay, so it's been moved to put on hold hiring the student success interventionist position until a job description can be provided to the board for review. And it's been by member Benson, it's been seconded by member Jacobs. Okay, now we can have discussion of the topic.
Amy, you said that we did provide the board.
We did provide it before we approved the advertising and hiring of that back a couple of, was it March, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Did we get a copy of that?
It did, yes.
So it should be in our,
It's in your shared drive.
Shared drive, but also it should be in your binder too, right?
Yeah, it was shared back with you back.
okay, so that would be like.
Because we voted to
March.
approve this position and you went out and found somebody.
And I think we tabled that for a month.
Right.
Well, I know they talked about it, but there was like that specific
Yeah,
description, I don't think was in there.
you said March?
I think it was March, I have to go back and look because
Okay, I just want to take a quick peek here too.
Yeah.
I guess I look at it on my side of it is that Brett is in charge of this position. And I'm assuming that when he did the interview of the people that found somebody to hire, that he found somebody qualified to do the jobs that he wanted.
Well, I'm not going back over her qualifications. I just wanted to see what's all in that job description to see how I want to see just how they're going to work with those kids through that many grades on a daily basis, just to see how much she can cover. I'm just curious, or what's expected of her.
So that will sway your vote then?
Maybe that would be like, is one enough?
Do you have,
That's my only
One.
question.
I've got it.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because if we're having that many students with issues, is one enough then at that point?
well, we've got other
We had a
people
hard
that
time
are
getting to
supposed
a
to be
point where we
taking
had to
care of
vote on
some of that
getting
stuff
one.
too.
Why would they have ever brought it up that we would get two?
Well, because we don't know how much she can handle for the day.
So are you sharing the job description electronically with Sandy right now? Okay, I just want to be clear what's going on in the room for those online
Provide
that are
support for
joining.
teachers and creating a positive supports for students, staff to emphasize.
I added this time too, that the state has created funding to maintain these job positions that have been hired with ESSER dollars into the future. So
Is
how
this,
far into the future, I don't know, but
So this is ESSER dollars
that-
right now.
this is ESSER dollars.
is this intervention, oh, so it is ESSER dollars, that's
Yes.
awesome. Is this interventionist, is that person just gonna be working with students that are flagged for the day in a classroom that are disrupting people and they're taken out of the room and that person works with them one-on-one? Is that how that works?
That's a big part of it. Brett, do you want to talk to that?
I mean, that's gonna happen, but it's also gonna have certain, interventions. Best case scenario or best, I'm looking for the word, best practices are for 3 days throughout the week, for 20 minutes. So it could go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it could be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, working with these kids. And it doesn't have to be a one-on-one, it could be a small group. So it kind of depends on what we're looking at. So this year we're going K-8, we're gonna be doing what's called the FAST test. K-4 already does this, 5th and 6th grade does it as well, or will be doing it. And the students that are just struggling, need that extra help, which we saw grades 5 through 9 really struggle a little bit coming out from COVID. They just don't have the help in place, like we've got in the elementary with our title program. So this is kind of, I don't want to call it their title program, but
Middle
it's going to fill in some gaps there.
Okay.
So
What do we hire her at? What do we-
She's already a teacher here. She,
Okay, so she's moving out of the teaching
so she would
position
take-
into
go
this
out of the
position.
classroom.
Just a transfer.
Transfer.
So she would be at whatever she would be.
Okay.
Okay, so the motion is still on the table with a second to table the hiring the student success interventionist until the job description's been viewed. Now, I know you've looked at it.
Mhm.
We can proceed on with the vote, or we can proceed with an amendment to the motion to move forward. How does the board want to proceed?
I guess I can amend it. I'd be okay with amending it.
Okay, so what is your amendment, Sandy?
Just amend that we follow through with it
And approve?
and approve it. Yeah.
So you would want to strike tabling the position and change it to approve hiring Katie West
Yeah.
as the student success interventionist for the 2023 school year.
Yeah.
Is there a second to the amendment?
I'll second it.
Okay. Okay, give me a second here.
Thank you for that, Brett.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so it's been moved by Member Benson to amend the main motion by striking the entire motion and amending it to say approve Katie West as the student success interventionist for the 2023 school year through 2024 school year, and that was seconded by Member Bowen. So we'll vote on this as an amendment. Is there any more discussion on the amendment? Okay, hearing none, we'll proceed to vote on that amendment. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the amendment carries. Now we'll move, we'll actually vote on the motion. And is there any further, and the motion on the table is to approve Katie West as a student success interventionist for the 2023 through 2024 school year. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Okay, and that motion original motion was made by Member Benson and seconded by Member Jacobs. For the record, or this motion is. So with that, we'll do a voice vote.
She didn't second it.
No, she seconded the amendment.
Right.
Now we're voting, and the amendment
Right.
now changes the motion. And
Okay.
you still have the original maker and seconder of the motion. So that's why I had to write this down and be very clear what has occurred.
Okay.
It's a little bit confusing, but that's how it is.
Mhm.
So is there any discussion on that, on the main motion? Okay, we'll move to a voice vote because it's hiring a position or an individual for a position. Member Buckle.
Aye.
Member Johnson.
Aye.
Member Bowen.
Aye.
Member Benson.
Aye.
Member Jacobs.
Aye.
Member Sheehan.
Aye.
And Member Frank is an aye as well. So it's been unanimously voted on to approve Katie West as the student success interventionist for the 2023 through 2024 school year.
She's a raise.
Last item on under personnel. approve the resignation of Patrice Lloydot, is that how you pronounce it? Reading specialist effective June 15th, 2023. Is there a motion?
So moved, Bookto.
Is there a second?
Second?
Okay, it has been moved by member Buckle and seconded by member Sheehan to approve the resignation of Patrice Lodo, reading specialist, effective June 15th, 2023. Any discussion or questions?
Thanks for all the years.
Yeah, I say thank you and good luck in the future.
Anything else? Okay, with that, we'll proceed to do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries to approve the resignation of Patrice Lodo, reading specialist, effective June 15th, 2023. Thank goodness we're on to reports, so I can take a verbal break.
There you go. All right. First thing I've got on here, in case you didn't read the register from last week, Katie Ball has been selected to do the, I knew I was going to forget it, that's why I said it, the White House History Teacher Institute. So it'll include tours of the White House, tours of, I think, the Frederick Douglass Museum, and it's all paid for her. And
That's
it's
awesome.
a great experience that she'll be able to bring back to our students. Let's see, new legislation. We've got some legislation that passed at the last minute that kind of brings a sticky situation to our referendum. Before, the law said that 20 days before, minimum of 20 days before a referendum vote, and a maximum of 60 days before, you have to publish the review and comment that we received from the Commissioner of Education in the newspaper. They changed that first date, the number of days, from 20 to 48. And the reason they did that was because 20 days before the election, you already have people with mail-in ballots. So they're sending those in, and they may not have yet seen the review and comment. And so this allows for that, which that makes sense to me. I wish they would have grandfathered school districts into this if they've already been working on something. But so for us, what it does is it pushes up our date to submit the review and comment from the middle of August to July 11th. So we've scheduled a facilities committee meeting. We're scheduling a facilities committee meeting for the 6th at, Amy, is that at 3:00?
Yes.
Facilities, yes.
And then what we would do is, the board's welcome to come and watch that meeting if you're not on the committee. But then at 6:00, we'll have a special board meeting to discuss this and decide whether or not we want to proceed, or if we get results of the survey back that show that people want to go a different direction or really want to make modifications to what we've been discussing, we might then decide we want to hold off so that we can get a better review and comment in, which would push the vote for a potential referendum back. Amy, you had something?
I have the meeting now for the school board meeting now for 5:00.
For 5:00? That's right. Yep, 3 and 5. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I think it is on here.
It is on it is correct in the packet.
Yep. I just set it on there. Let's see, any questions on that? All right. Splash Island update. So quite a while ago, the board approved moving forward with donating land to the Splash Island splash pad in Bird Island. And we've just kind of been waiting for things to come together. And we're getting to a point now. I just actually about 2 hours ago, heard from the survey company. They've got a detailed survey of the area, including an easement so that we can get to the rest of our property over there if needed. And we'll be moving forward with that. So excited for the group that's been working on this. I think they've done a phenomenal job. Corey Eiler has been in constant contact for quite a while. And they've raised a lot of money for this. So, and I think some of you may not have been on the board when we did that, when we approved that, but we thought it was a nice gesture for Two Bird Island. And, you know, there are kids going to be using it. So, there you go. So hopefully we'll have that in the next week or so. Insurance, I think I'll talk about insurance when we get to insurance here. So I'll just jump over that. The pool update, I think Tracy's mentioned it here, but we're looking at the week of August 7th where we're going to get the building materials to build a containment room for the.
It was amended this week to August 25th. Of August 25th.
Okay, nobody told me that. August 25th now.
Yeah, it was just amended.
Okay. So what they're doing is basically we're getting a walk-in freezer shell because we've got to have something that we can make, we can keep the air dry, keep the air cool, because we're going to have a 500 amp electrical service coming onto a pool deck, which you want to make sure that that's well done. So they think it's a great idea. I'm happy that we've got a solution. I'm happy that we're going to move the panel from underneath water level to above water level. It only makes sense. I'm not an electrician, but I know that water gets angry with electricity. So, could you say the date again? I didn't write that down.
The week of August 25th.
The week of August 25th. So I don't think we're probably going to see any swimming until
Fall.
probably October.
It all depends on how smoothly things go.
I think once this gets here, I think it's going to go pretty quickly unless
Contractors have other.
yeah,
commitments as well,
contractors
so.
get other things in the way sometimes. But one of the questions I get more than anything is when's the pool going to be open? So that's coming up. Not until the fall here. And then the last thing I'll mention, I didn't have it written down, but tomorrow from 11 to 1, Cenex is having their customer appreciation lunch, and the proceeds are going to go to our robotics team. And so if you're looking for a lunch, go on to Cenex and support Cenex, support their robotics team.
Okay, thank you, Eugene. K through 12 principal report, Brett.
I don't have anything, well, I got one thing to add, but we had a group of staff, Mrs. Rose, Mrs. Ball, that took some kiddos to DC, correct? Looked like a great trip. I know I've heard a lot of good things about that. So that's good to see. A busy time here. One big positive is as of 5 o'clock, I got word that our choir teacher accepted our position.
Yay.
So that'll be on our board packet next month. I have been contacted by about 4 different school districts in our area asking what we were gonna do because they were in the same boat. Now I get to respond back to them, I've got a teacher. So
Awesome.
that's been something that's been weighing on me and I know Mr. Menton, what are we gonna do? So that's kind of the good news going into July. So,
We're still looking for
we need a business teacher. We need a semester's Spanish teacher. Could use another science teacher. It's not something that we absolutely have to have to function, but it would be, and we could do a little bit more with our ag program.
Well, now we're also going to be posting an elementary position.
Yep, now we're gonna be posting an elementary position for Patrice's spot.
What, are we gonna try to find a math title as well?
So yeah, I've got both, we're gonna post 2 positions tomorrow. I sent it out to the elementary staff to see if anybody would be, wanted to transition into that role, depending if we can find a replacement for them. So that's kind of where we're at there. Any questions?
Excellent.
Thank you. Okay, activities report, that will be closure number 2 in our packet. So there was one thing I'll point out on that, that would be a ticket price and event worker stipend increase, comments by Derek. And so that'll likely be an item we'll be bringing forward on an upcoming meeting agenda to set the position.
Yep, we'll do that next month.
But this gives everyone some information to that, and so look through that. I would encourage you to.
I got a question how the season ticket works. So if someone comes in and works at an event or something, then they get a free season ticket? Is that how that works?
For 5 events.
5 events. Okay,
Is that in a policy?
I don't know.
That's a good question. I don't know. Might just be something we've always done. I'll look into that.
Because we probably lose a lot of money just by doing that.
But you're also not paying someone to.
No, correct.
I don't think we're.
But-
Maybe some money, but
It covers costs.
it's tough to find people to work.
Yeah. Not saying don't do it, I'm just saying.
Well, yeah,
it's a
I was-
policy.
Neither did I just
So
made a statement.
Just something to ponder too. At least I was pondering it a little bit. I know this isn't till next month, but I was thinking to myself, like even for an adult, if you pay $20 for a season pass and you can go through all the games all year long for $20, I'd be willing to pay double that. You're still getting a heck of a deal. If the season pass would be $40 for the whole year, I mean, seriously, if you think about all the games you can go to.
I think it is $40. Isn't it 40 for a year
I would say 50.
or 50?
Okay, I thought here it says it's 20.
That's for the,
They want to increase it
what
$20 for the adults.
Oh, yeah, okay. See, it doesn't say where it currently is right now.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that probably could have worded better.
Okay.
I want to say it's like 70, it'd be closer to 75, I think, with the increase or whatever.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense still,
Yeah.
because that's still cheap when you think about all the games you can go to. Especially if you're gonna charge $8 a ticket. 10 games, it's $80.
Could be like 2 weeks in basketball.
Yeah,
know.
exactly. Right. So I am all for that too.
Any other questions or comments on the activities report? Okay, we'll move on to item C under reports. That would be the Community Education Revolution Wellness YMCA report. That's closure number 3 in your packet. So any questions on that?
I hear we lost Liz.
Yep, we've lost Liz. She's going to be taking a job with Pact for Families.
Mhm.
She did a great job here. Well, I think Jennifer's going to take over her position.
Okay,
So we'll miss her.
yeah, she did a really good job with the kids.
Yep.
They really liked all the stuff they got to do, and they enjoyed it. Well, it should continue.
It will.
Yeah. Not too worried about it.
Item E under reports is our pool report. That's enclosure number 4 in the packet. Tracy, since you're here, anything to comment on
We're
additional?
gonna have a pool board meeting Thursday night so that we can walk through the building. Or so the meeting will happen at the pool.
So that would be the Today's
29th.
29th.
Yep.
Okay. Then we'll move on to facilities report, item F. That's enclosure 5 in our packet. Any questions on Denny's report?
He's quite the writer.
Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to school board reports. So the first one would be the, under item G is the Ag Advisory Committee, and I attended that meeting on June 12th. That was at 4 p.m. and it was in the what I would call it the business classroom, transitioning to the another classroom. At that meeting, so I was the only board representative there. There were several community members on the committee that attended, as well as Skylar. And so she talked about the livestock team and their performance at the state convention. Two of the students participated in state choir, and that the chapter received an outstanding Superior Chapter Award. She spoke about the elementary ag day that was conducted in the classroom by bringing in Princess K and having animals again in the classroom and brought into the facility for the students. They are now starting to talk to 5th and 6th graders to garner interest in ag and FFA, and so they're working through that. I mentioned the room change. They received another grant, and that was discussed a little bit earlier in the meeting on the chairs. And the officers have a lot of excitement and ideas that they're looking to incorporate into the FFA program for this upcoming year. And they also talked about the garden beds that were put in here on the south and east corner of the building. So if you haven't had a chance to look at those, do that. Then they have all kinds of events planned for summer. They're doing some collaborative events with neighboring FFA chapters, RCW, GFW, BLHS, around the county fair. They're participating in Corn Capital Days. They're planning to participate in Lake Lillian's 100-year Fun Days or program coming up in early August. And they have several members that are going to be exhibiting livestock at the state fair this summer for FFA. And the officers have set goals, and that's to increase membership by 15 members, have an event once a quarter in the school, and hold a monthly meeting every month. And Skylar said she's in process of getting credentialed in animal science, so that will be a new course potentially offered. And talked about the large interest in the floral design and horticulture to do a collaborative program with the art department this next year. And they have 5 open slots to go to National FFA Convention in Indianapolis, but they have more interest than the 5 slots. So they're gonna have to do some weeding and selection somehow to choose who can go to that. And other than that, they talked about contests for this upcoming year and then some needs and wants for the program. So if anyone has interest in knowing what those are, email me or Skylar, and we can get you that list. So. Any other questions on the meeting? Okay. Next would be the facilities committee report. So Teresa, Todd, or Ally, or Jim?
Our last meeting was fairly quick. We just agreed to allow Nexus to move forward in the second batch of the survey. And they were increasing the survey sample size to 500 rather than 400 and honing down the questions from like not being so broad as they were the first, but being very specific about different options. and we got the questions and everybody approved them. Right? What else did we do? That was it?
We talked about the roofing insurance,
That's right.
looking into signing up with a company that would insure our roofing. They've already evaluated it and they've given us a go-ahead. And so if there's any damage going forth, it would be insured by them, and we can use a contractor that works on it now. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Yep, no, that's exactly right. They'll insure it for 12 more years. 12, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. They'll insure it for another 12 years. So when you think about that it's way cheaper than putting on new roofs. So, if they're going to go through and if they find problems, they'll take care of those in order to make the warranty valid. So that's great news.
So that's both schools, both
Yes.
roofs,
Yep.
really?
Yep.
Yep.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, so often these companies put on roofs and they'll guarantee them for 30 years. It sounds great. But if they're willing to guarantee them for 30 years, they're probably a 50-year roof. And if this company is able to come in and repair damaged spots, and that's on them, they're going to have to find all of those, then that's going to save us a lot of money.
My only question is what happens after 12 years then? If everything's under 12 years and we have shot roofs and we have a huge
Yeah,
replacement,
I don't know if they said that they would reevaluate after 12 years, or at some point we just have to put a new roof on.
This gives us more time.
Could put some money aside.
Well, we have that LTFM money for Rhode Island, so we shouldn't have to worry about that. So
Yeah, we do
basically,
have
we-
450,000
Mhm.
set aside specifically for one of the roofs, the gym
Mhm.
roof
Mhm.
in Bird Island. So we've got the money set aside. That's very convenient.
So as I understand, that gives us a tool to offset and rotate our roofs and get a schedule in place that makes it very feasible to do replacements when we need it and build up our funding and plan for
Yes.
is how I would
Yep.
read that.
Yeah, our LTFM dollars can be carried over from one year to another for projects just like this. So that's nice.
Okay, any other questions or items brought up in facilities?
Heard great comments on the mailing that went out
Yeah, I
from
did
people
too.
in town.
I did too.
me too.
Yeah, it looked good. I think the only question I got from it was a gal called concerned or upset that the pool is no longer a priority, and I explained to her that it's not a priority for a first question, but we're going to find alternate ways to fix up the pool. So maybe we could have stated that a little bit better on the mailing. We're going to have a pool. It's getting fixed, and it's just we're not going to run it through a referendum to fix it.
Okay, anything else? Okay, let's move on then on the agenda to new business. First item is going to be our final reading of revised policy 208, development, adoption, and implementation of policies. This is enclosure 6. So since it's the final reading, I will read through the policy. And so the purpose of the policy is to emphasize the importance of the policy-making role of the school board and provide the means for it to be an ongoing effort. Section 2 is the general statement of policy. Formal guidelines are necessary to ensure the school community that the school system responds to its mission and operates in an effective, efficient, and consistent manner. A set of written policies shall be maintained and modified as needed. Policies should define the desire and intent of the school board and should be in a form that is sufficiently explicit to guide administrative action. Section 3 is development of policy. Part A, the school board has jurisdiction to legislate policy with the force and effect of law for the school district. School district policy provides the school board's general direction for the school district while delegating policy implementation to the administration. Part B, the school district's policies provide guidelines and goals to the school community. The policies are the basis for the guidelines and directives created by the administration. The school board shall determine the effectiveness of policies by evaluating periodic reports from the administration. Section C under development of policy. Policies may be proposed by a school board member, employee, student, or resident of the school district. Proposed policies or ideas shall be submitted to the superintendent for review prior to possible placement on the school board agenda. Section 4 is adoption and review of policy. Part A, the school board shall give notice of proposed policy changes or adoption of new policies by placing the item on the agenda of 2 school board meetings. The proposal shall be distributed and public comment will be allowed at both meetings. Part B, the final action taken to adopt the proposed policy shall be approved by a simple majority vote of the school board at a meeting after the 2 meetings at which public input was received. The policy will be effective on the latter of the date of passage or the date stated in the motion. Part C, in an emergency, a new or modified policy may be adopted by a majority vote of a quorum of the school board in a single meeting. A statement regarding the emergency and the need for immediate adoption of the policy shall be included in the minutes. The policy adopted in an emergency shall expire within 1 year following the emergency action unless the policy adoption procedure stated above is followed and the policy is reaffirmed. The school board shall have discretion to determine what constitutes an emergency. Part D, if a policy is modified with minor changes that do not affect the substance of the policy or because of a legal change over which the school board has no control, the modified policy may be approved at 1 meeting at the discretion of the school board. Part 5, implementation and access to policy. Part A of Section 5, the superintendent shall be responsible for implementing school board policies. Other than the policies that cover how the school board will operate, the superintendent shall develop administrative guidelines and directives to provide greater specificity and consistency in the process of implementation. These guidelines and directives, including employee and student handbooks, shall be subject to annual review and approved by the school board. Part B under Section 5, each school board member shall have access to school district policies. A copy of the school district policies shall be placed in the office of each school attendance center and in the central school district office and shall be available for reference purposes to other interested persons. Part C under 5, the superintendent, employees designated by the superintendent, and individual school board members shall be responsible for keeping the policies current. Part D, under Section 5, the school board shall review policies at least once every 3 years. The superintendent shall be responsible for developing a system of periodic review, addressing approximately 1/3 of the policies annually. In addition, the school board shall review the following policies annually: 506, student discipline, and 806, crisis management policy. Part E under Section 5. When no school board policy exists to provide guidance on a matter, the superintendent is authorized to act appropriately under the circumstances, keeping in mind the mission, educational philosophy, and financial condition of the school district. Under such circumstances, the superintendent shall advise the school board of the need for a policy and present a recommended policy to the school board for approval. And then there's a legal reference to Minnesota Statute 123B.02 subdivision 1, which is school district powers, and the Minnesota Statute 123B.09 subdivision 1 school board powers, and then a cross reference to the MSBA MASA model policy 305 policy implementation. Is there a motion to approve the final reading?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Is there any, it's been moved by member Buchtel and seconded by member Johnson to approve the final reading of revised policy 208, development, adoption, and implementation of policies. Any further discussion? Yes,
I have one
Teresa.
question on, under development of policy number B,
Mhm.
where it says the policies are the basis for guidelines and directives created by the administration. Would it be better read if it said the policies are the basis for guidelines and directives created for the administration by the school board?
So you can make, you want to make an amendment?
Well, I just wanted to bring that up. Would it be better if it was stated that the guidelines and directives are created for the administration by the school board? Because part of that was like, the school board should be created by the school board should create the policies
Yeah,
for the administration.
we can make that edit and change.
So that, I would just like to edit that, but
We discussed this now, or?
Mhm.
I guess I would look at it that as far as policies goes, it's gonna have to come from the inside out. They're gonna have to tell us what they think is necessary for a policy as they're in the building all day, every day. For us to decide what they needed ahead of time. I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong. I'm just saying, it sounds like we set the policy and we tell them what to do instead of them telling us what they need to do, and then we create the policy.
I think anytime we're creating a policy, we're working together on that.
Should be.
It needs to, but it is the board that sets the policy.
Mhm.
Hopefully with input from
The admin.
administration, yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
It also says somewhere in here, I don't know where it is now, that policies can be brought up by community members, teachers, staff, school board, or administration.
Yeah, that's 3C.
Yeah, it says the proposed policies shall be submitted to the superintendent to review for possible placement of school board agenda.
Well, and it says in there too that the school board determines the effectiveness of the policies by evaluating them. So does that give the wiggle room, that we could change them if need be?
Which one, where are you looking at?
B
It's
on
right-
that
it's the
last
following
sentence.
Plus evaluating periodic
Under
reports from the administration.
3B.
One, if you look at the first sentence in B, it says the school districts, it used to say boards' written policies provide guidelines and goals to the school community. But that was striked out. I don't know who struck that out.
That was a recommendation by MSBA on the edits.
So the MSBA will go through and they're constantly updating their model policies. And they send that out to us. So we tend to just put in whatever recommendations they
have.
make because their attorneys have been going through it. We don't have to. We certainly can change things, but a lot of times I don't know what the reason for change the district's board's written policies to just the district's policies. I don't know what the reason for changing that is, but I would assume that their attorneys said, let's do that.
For wording reasons.
Yeah, because it says the evaluating, the school board shall determine the effectiveness of the policies by evaluating the periodic reports from the administration. So you can implement the policies, but you would reevaluate them per se as to how they're going. You would tell us like, this policy that you came up with, can we change that?
Yeah.
You can look at it that way too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Directives created by admin.
So does the board want to move forward with Teresa's suggested edit?
So what line are we changing?
So it would be under section 3, part B, it would be the second sentence would say, the policies are the basis for guidelines and directives created
By,
for the administration by
By
the
the
school board.
yeah. That sounds good.
But the policies are created for everyone. policies, so I think where you put the emphasis on the sentence changes it. The policies are the basis for guidelines and directives created by
By
the
the school board.
administration. So the administration is creating the guidelines and directives. They're looking at, well, for example, the student handbook would be an example of that. A written manual of how we put those policies into effect. Sometimes those policies are actually put right into that. Sometimes they're not. But I don't know that it needs a change. I don't think it. I don't. We just want to be careful we don't change the meaning of this.
The biggest changes really are under section 5, part D, on what's required for annual review, where it goes from 10 policies down to 2.
And they scratched all those other ones off.
They're all scratched out.
Really?
So those now move into the 3-year rotation at a minimum. Those other 8 versus being in an annual.
I think that the Minnesota School Board Association is recommending these changes and they have the lawyers going through it, that maybe that's like where we should follow their lead.
The big thing with this change is it makes it a lot easier for us to go through our policies. We've got, I don't know how many policies, we've got a lot of policies. And when you have 10 or 11 of them that have to be done every single year, that adds a lot, especially when you think that final reading has to read the whole policy. This saves a lot of time.
I agree with Ally. I think that if MSBA recommends changes, I think we should be careful with changing what they're recommending.
I think in 5D, I think too, technology has changed so much since we started school districts. And, it used to be somebody had to like type this by hand with whiteouts and all of those things that they used to have to do. And if you wanted to find a copy of it, I don't even know what you did to make a copy back. Mimeograph. So you had to have like a ink sheet you had to put on top of something and roll it through a drum. And we're so far beyond that now. And so it's easier to stay up on top of that. So I'm sure that's playing into this.
Mm-hmm.
Teresa, what would you like to do?
I was just suggesting it, so it's obviously, it's not gonna go through, so just leave it the way it is. It's no big deal.
Okay. All right, so any other questions? Okay, so then there's a motion on the table to, by Member Buckle and Member Johnson, to approve the final reading of the revised policy 208, development, adoption, and implementation of policies. So if no further questions or input or discussion, we'll move to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay. Or aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Final reading of revised policy 516.5. So under our policy 208, which we previously had, and we just approved this revised policy, but under section D, it's said under section D of part 4, it says the policy is modified with minor changes that don't affect the substance of the policy or because of a legal change over which the school board has no control. The modified policy may be approved at one meeting at the discretion of the school board. And that's what now happens with policy 516.5 because due to a legislative change out of our direct control, we need to have a policy in place for the upcoming year on overdose medication. And so would anyone want to volunteer and read the policy other than me? I don't have to do the reading.
I can read it if you like,
Go ahead.
once. As a means of enhancing this is under purpose, as a means of enhancing the health and safety of its students, staff, and visitors, the school district will acquire, administer, and store doses of an opiate antagonist, specifically naloxone, otherwise known as Narcan, and administration devices or kits for emergency use to assist a student, staff member, or other individual believed or suspected to be experiencing an opioid overdose on school property during the school day or at school district activities. Number 2, general statement of policy. The school board authorizes school district administration to obtain and possess opioid overdose reversal medication, such as naloxone or Narcan, to be maintained and administered to a student or other individual by trained school staff if the staff member determines in good faith that the person to whom the medication is administered is experiencing an opioid overdose. Authorization for obtaining, possessing, and administering naloxone or similar permissible medications under this policy are contingent upon 1, the continued validity of state and federal law that permit a person who is not a healthcare professional to dispense an opioid antagonist to the school district and its employees by law. 2, that the school district and its staff are immune from criminal prosecution and not otherwise liable for civil damages for administering the opiate antagonist to another person who the staff member believes in good faith to be suffering from a drug overdose. And 3, the availability of funding either from outside resources or as approved by the school board to obtain and administer opioid overdose reversal medication. Number 3, definitions. A, drug-related overdose means an acute condition including mania, hysteria, extreme physical illness, respiratory depression, or coma resulting from the consumption or use of a controlled substance or another substance with which a controlled substance was combined, and that a layperson would reasonably believe to be a drug overdose that requires immediate medical assistance. B, naloxone coordinator is a school district staff person or administrator appointed to monitor the adherence to protocols outlined in this policy and referenced procedures. The naloxone coordinator is responsible for building level administration and management of opioid antagonist medications and supplies. The school district's naloxone coordinator is the school nurse. C, opiate means any dangerous substance having an addiction-forming or addiction-sustaining liability similar to morphine or being capable of conversion into a drug having such addiction-forming or addiction-sustaining liability. D, opiate antagonist means naloxone hydrochloride or just naloxone, or any similarly acting drug approved by the FDA for the treatment of a drug overdose. E, standing order means directions from the school district's medical provider that sets forth how to house and administer naloxone or other opiate antagonist medications to students, staff members, or other individuals believed or suspected to be experiencing an opioid overdose. This standing order should include the following information: the administration type, dosage, date of issuance, and signature of the authorized provider. Part 4, general statement of policy and responsibilities. A, the school district must maintain a supply of opiate antagonists at each school site to be administered in compliance with Minnesota law. Each school building must have 2 doses of nasal naloxone available on site. B, a licensed physician, a licensed advanced practice registered nurse authorized to prescribe drugs pursuant to Minnesota statutes, section 148.1 148.235, or by a licensed physician assistant, may authorize a nurse or other personnel employed by or under contract with a public school may be authorized to administer opiate antagonists as defined under Minnesota statutes, section 604A.04, subdivision 1. C, a licensed practical nurse is authorized to possess and administer an opiate antagonist in a school setting, notwithstanding Minnesota statutes 148.235, subdivisions 8 and 9. D, District Collaborative Planning and Implementation Team. To the extent naloxone is obtained for use consistent with this policy, the school district will establish a district-wide collaborative planning and implementation team, the district planning team, who will oversee the general development and operations related to the use of opiate antagonist naloxone and regularly report to the school board as to activities. 1, the district planning team will include the naloxone coordinator and may include the superintendent or designee, school nurse, public health experts, first responders, students or family representatives, and community partners who will be assigned to the team by the superintendent or designee or solicited as volunteers by the superintendent. 2, the district planning team, through the naloxone coordinator, will obtain a protocol or standing order from a licensed medical prescriber for the use of naloxone or other opiate antagonist by the school district staff in all school facilities and activities, and will update or renew the protocol or standing order annually or as otherwise required. A copy of the protocol or standing order will be maintained in the office of the naloxone coordinator. 3, the district planning team will develop district-wide guidelines and procedures and determine the forms of naloxone to be used within the school district, in parentheses, nasal, auto injector, manual injector, in parentheses, and the method and manner of arranging for the financing and purchasing, storage, and use of naloxone to be approved by the school board. Once approved by the school board, these guidelines and procedures will be attached and incorporated into this policy. At a minimum, these guidelines and procedures will: A, ensure that when naloxone is administered, school district employees must activate the Community Emergency Response System, 911, to ensure additional medical support due to the limited temporary effect of naloxone and the continued need of recipients of additional medical care. B, requires school district employees to contact the school district healthcare professional to obtain medical assistance for the recipient of the naloxone, if possible, pending arrival of emergency personnel. C, direct school district employees to make immediate attempts to determine if the recipient is a minor, and if so, locate the identity of the parent or guardian of the minor and ensure contact with that parent or guardian is made as soon as possible after administration of the naloxone for the purpose of informing the parent or guardian of the actions that have been taken. And D, requires school district staff to inform the building administrator or other administrator overseeing an event or activity of the administration of naloxone, as well as the naloxone coordinator after taking necessary immediate emergency steps. 4, the district planning team will determine the type and method of annual training, identify staff members at each school site to be trained, and coordinate the implementation of the training with the assistance of the naloxone coordinator. E, site planning teams. 1, in consultation with the district planning team, the administrator at each school site may establish, in the manner the superintendent or naloxone coordinator deems appropriate, a site planning team within the school site. And 2, the site planning team will be responsible for the coordination and implementation of this policy, district-wide guidelines and procedures within the school site, and will develop and implement any specific guidelines and procedure for the storage and use of naloxone within the school site in a manner consistent with this policy and district-wide procedures and guidelines. F, school district staff. School district staff members will be responsible for attending all required training pertaining to the policy, procedures, and guidelines for the storage and use of naloxone and performing any assigned responsibilities pursuant to the guidelines and procedures. Part 5, naloxone storage. The site planning team will select numerous naloxone storage locations within the school site and outside the school site when activities are conducted off school grounds. B, the selected storage locations of naloxone will be classified as non-public security information, as the school board has determined that the disclosure of this data to the general public would be likely to substantially jeopardize the security of the medication that could be subject to theft, tampering, and improper use. Therefore, the identity of the storage locations will be shared only with those school district staff members whom the district planning team or site team have determined need access to this information to aid public health and safety as determined in the procedures and guidelines. And C, stock naloxone will be clearly labeled, monitored for expiration dates, and stored in a secured location that is accessible by trained staff as set forth in paragraph 5B. And finally, 6, privacy protections. The school district will maintain the privacy of students and staff related to the administration of naloxone as required by law. Do I need to read all the?
No,
No.
there's a lot, there's
Yes.
about 11 minutes.
Todd said he'd like to read it.
No, there's about 15 statute cross-references and then a couple of cross-references for privacy protection. And this is available to the public to review as well. So we're not going to read this, all this stuff. So is there a motion to approve the policy as 516.5 overdose medication?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
It's been
Thanks, Jim.
It's been moved, yes, by member Bowen and seconded by member Sheehan to approve the final reading of policy 516.5 overdose medication. Any questions, concerns, discussion on this policy? Okay. So hearing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You approve the revised, or the policy 515.5 overdose medication. Okay, next is enclosure number 8 in our packet. This would be policy 501. So this is an existing policy. There was just some minor edits suggested by the Minnesota School Board Association. So because it was an existing policy with very minor edits, you can forego reading the policy.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, take a look at it, and if there's something you have a question on, either give me a call or email, and we'll look into it.
Is it highlighted where there was made changes, or we don't know?
You can simply take this and cross-reference to the
Sure.
existing
Okay.
policy,
Perfect.
the current policy on the board's website. Strikeout version is downloaded, or the other.
Yeah,
The,
we'll take a look for the strikeout version
yes.
and email it out to everybody.
Okay. Then we'll move on. So yeah, just take a look through that and we'll send out the strikeout version. Okay. The next is enclosure number 9 in our packet. So under new business, part D is reading of policy 502, the search of student lockers, desks, personnel possessions, and student person. So this again would be an existing policy. with some minor edits to it, and this, again, is not the strikeout version.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that and get that sent out.
Okay. All right, we can now move on to item E under new business, and that is a motion to designate Rundle County Register as the 2023 through 2024 official school newspaper. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
I'll second.
And moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Buckle to designate the Rundle County Register as the 2023 through 2024 official school newspaper. Any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we'll move to vote. All in favor to say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries to designate the Rundle County Register as the 2023 through 2024 official school newspaper. Okay, item 5, approve the bus contract with Superior Transportation. That's an action. That's enclosure number 10.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Buckle to approve the bus contract with Superior Transportation. Any discussion?
I got one question. On number 5, where it says fuel escalator clause, what's your base for that? Who do you go by? Do you go by the EIA website, Midwest, Upper Midwest Fuel?
Buy all of our fuel from the Sonic station
So
up here.
your base and go by Olivia Senex.
Yeah, well, what we use is not quite like looking at the sign on the way by.
Right.
We're able to use red diesel fuel, so we save the district about 24.5 cents a gallon. Because we don't have to pay that portion of the tax. Then there's about a 10-cent discount on top of that, 5 to 10 cents. That we get for another discount on top of that because the volumes we buy.
Okay.
So once all those things are calculated off, that's where we consider what we get reimbursed from.
The overage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So our discounts and our things that we get are because of the volumes of fuels we buy. For all of our bus garages except for one, everything comes out of Senex and goes to all of them. So we spend roughly here in this town probably about, I suppose, $80,000 to $90,000 a month in diesel fuel going everywhere. So this district, along with those, benefit from those volumes.
Okay.
So that's where we look. There's times somebody might be a little bit cheaper, but on an average, the convenience of it and everything else is we're a big priority to them.
So when you say you use all your buses, they truck the fuel? I mean, like they tanker it over to your,
We have bulk sites at each of our locations.
Okay.
And he does a route every once a week to all of them, fills them all.
okay,
So,
just wondering.
yeah, that's the benefit to your district. We catch it back at a little bit of other districts. I don't want to make 8 phone calls every month of any fuel.
No, just curious.
It never goes out to bids? You never have it go out to bid?
We don't, there's different perks, not just the discounts, we get perks on barrels and pumps and services, and now they just installed, they haven't done ours yet up here, but all of the wireless type levels and those type of things. We haven't put it out to bids. I spot check it all the time. We're constantly doing that. I do that for each of our districts. I'll check with Farmward and I'll check with, different suppliers around. We utilize UFP over and now with sewer. And so we're always comparing those back and forth on how that looks. So, yeah, I don't necessarily think that it's always the best, but I'd say most of the time it is. we don't do that every week or every month or every load.
But the one nice thing, they get dividends too. The dividends, you should get dividends out there.
Yeah, we get dividends. Some of that stuff we forgo because of discounts and things
Okay.
like that, but yeah.
Okay,
It's expensive.
I just been wondering where that base price
Yeah,
was.
yeah, it's a bunch of subtractions, the pump, subtract 24.5, subtract that, subtract this, that's usually where.
Okay,
Can I ask you about do you have cameras on your buses, and if so, how many, and where are they placed?
We do not have cameras on our buses here. We have cameras at other locations. We've talked about that. We've talked about that as a last resort type of a thing to be able to do that. I was reluctant to do it at other districts because I thought it's just one more thing of policing, of babysitting, whatever you might want to call it, to look through. When we did put them on our other locations, we saw a lot of improvement in behavior, and so I wouldn't be opposed to it at all. The only thing is, we asked that when the cameras be installed, we split the costs with that because it drastically, they're about $2,500 for a bus is what it is. And it's not just that as an expense, it's also us watching game film or what went on this morning or whatever. There's features on where you can push a button. Like if the driver notices there's some crazy stuff going on, they can hit a button and put some work in there for us. So like if, we find out later there was something that went on, we don't have to watch an hour and 10 minutes of film to find it. We've also found that it helps our drivers, or it helps us hold our drivers more accountable too. Because one of the cameras is right over their heads. So we've had success with it, and we know how to install them, how to use them, and how effective they are. But we do try. We can't do it the old-fashioned way still as much as we can.
Joe and I have talked. I'm a big fan of putting not just one, but two cameras on each bus, one towards the back, one towards the front.
What we end up doing when we do them, though, it ends up being 3, sometimes 4. Good. One of them goes in the stop arm, and so that's for people running their stop arms. One of them goes over the driver's head, one goes way in the back, and then there's one in the center. So it just ends up being roughly about 3. And we can see everything. We can zoom in, we can blur, if there's 8 kids right there, but we're focusing on these 2, we can blur out other kids' faces so that as we're sharing a video and that type of thing, or if we're involving, if the school decides, what we do, we edit it so that you can see what went on. We can send it into the school, let them help us figure out what to do, what we see.
Well, it's nice to have because the school bus is an extension of the school. If you aren't supposed to be swearing here, you're not supposed to be swearing on the bus either.
Right.
And
Bullying.
it's kind of the opposite. Swearing that's where most kids learn how to swear, I think, is riding a school bus sometimes. So being able to have that, and these would have audio with them too. You're able to hear quite a bit. And I think by kids understanding that, it'll only take a couple to get caught. And
we have some route buses that have them, and that driver always drives that bus. There's a couple buses, and I'm referring to over in the sewer. We had trouble on 3-4 buses, so we put cameras on those. It stopped almost immediately. But we have a 5th one we just put in, and that one we just bounce around. Drives, there's stuff that's stirring up, and we're trying to figure out what's going on with the driver in that bus for the day. It wouldn't be so bad if we tried a couple up here.
yeah,
It's a little bit of a training thing, for the office, but it isn't really that bad. It's a little drive we pull out and plug it into the office.
another benefit of this is riding the school bus is a privilege, not a right. And you can hit a point where you can remove a kid from the bus for a week or a month or the entire school year. And that's really hard on parents. And so by having this on the bus, you're actually helping parents who, yeah, they may understand that their kid can be a problem. They're not there with them.
No,
They can't, yeah. And a bus driver, that's got to be a tough job, because I know how tough it can be to control kids when I'm standing there face to face. And here you've got somebody up in the front that the kids know can't walk back to the bus
Mhm.
without pulling over. And
This one through it especially tough as we were watching her out,
yeah,
dealing with that type of stuff. That we had some
Absolutely.
you know, if we had discipline stuff.
Since it's a safety and security with ESSER funds.
That's what I was
Mhm.
getting.
we might be able to use ESSER for that. We've got some health and safety dollars again. I think we finally got those up back, so we could use some of that too.
And
Few
good
of you
idea.
and I can talk more about with Penny about some ideas on certain routes. We do have a route or two that probably could be some better behavior, that's for sure.
So obviously, that's not part of the contract.
No, it's
So
not.
we're drifting on our discussion. Let's get back to the contract and
Okay.
move on.
Thank you.
But bring that back up as a future item.
Okay.
All of the highlighted monetary changes were, we went up 3%.
Mhm.
So
Buses used to cost $80,000, they're $130 right now. And so therefore, used buses we used to buy for $30,000-$40,000, and now they're $90,000. And they're not around to go to Illinois and Oklahoma and all over the place to get them, so that 3% helps offset a little bit.
Sure.
A little. So,
Yeah.
Any further questions? Okay, I think we're ready to move then to a vote. All in favor of approving the bus contract as presented as enclosure 10 with Superior Transportation, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, on to item G, approve the fiscal year 24 LTFM proposed budget. This is enclosure 11 and 12 in your packet. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Buckle to approve the fiscal year 24 LTFM proposed budget. Any questions or discussion?
Again, on this also, I would like to push this back so I can look at it a little bit more. I don't feel like I've done my due diligence is to look into this either.
okay, we do have to pass this by June 30th. That's why we got it out a couple weeks ago.
I know it's hard to read.
Any other questions?
I think it's basically the same as last year. The only difference is we didn't spend the roofing money this year and I forwarded it to next year, not knowing what our plans are yet. So that money is still there. It just carries forward to next year and we then pull in our funds that we were given.
Do you remember what line item that was under?
It would be on enclosure 11 at the bottom. In that blue section, under fiscal year 24, it's the 400,000 under roof
Oh,
stuff.
I gotta go under.
That's what our bottom LTFM balance budget is.
Roof systems, I see right there.
Any other questions?
Okay.
Lisa?
Yeah, I have one more. So it looks like it's taken out in 2025 then, the 400,000.
Well, yeah, because we're gonna spend it in 2024, so we will no longer have that money in 2025.
Okay.
That's why I showed the decrease there.
I thought we were gonna save that now, because if we're gonna go with
No,
that other roofing
you're
company.
talking, that's not the money that is in the, being saved for the Bird Island Road.
Okay, this is a different
This
amount?
is different, yeah, that's accounted for under a different spot.
That's committed fund balance.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
No,
That's
this is
so
on
there
top of
hasn't
that.
changed any.
All right.
So this is just a different money, doing the roof would cost more than that 400,000 that we put in that committed fund balance. So this covers the additional cost of the roof.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, so the motion on the table is to approve the fiscal year 24 LTM proposed budget. We'll move to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We've approved the fiscal year 24 LTFM proposed budget. Okay, item H. Approve the fiscal year 24 proposed budget. So this would just, and this is enclosures 13 and 14 in the packet.
I'll make a.
I'll second it.
Been moved by member Buckle and seconded by member Johnson to approve the fiscal year 24 proposed budget. Any discussion, questions?
I just want to make a comment. I would have liked to have been more, studied that a little bit more too, and go through and just to see if we could have made any like budget cuts, just to get it closer to running more
And I agree.
without deficit spending.
We tried hard to get this ready to go a lot earlier. We had a month setback because we thought the previous company was helping us with some of this, and they didn't. This is all, like, everything Amy's doing right now is brand new, and she's working very closely with a person from the service co-op as a mentor. She's also a Schmidt, no relation. What's her first name?
Christine.
Christine. And I just give her a shout out. She's doing a really good job of not just getting us through it, but explaining what we have to do and why we have to do it. I don't know, do you have anything you want to add on this, Amy?
Well, I would just like to compare back to last year. I know that we had planned to have over $300,000 in deficit spending. We did not deficit spend that much. And then two, that we are actually coming out ahead this year. We're not going to be overspending. Our revenues are going to be higher than our expenditures coming in. So that's good. Food service is also more revenues than expenditures, keeping that close to zero. Our community service fund, which has run in the negative for a long time, will hopefully be zeroed out, if not even getting a profit this year by some changes we've made. The pool fund runs efficiently every year, and our scholarship funds run zero as well.
I like that. I think that sounds great. Is just being on the finance committee. It's nice to, if you're going to be
Be a
on the
part of
committee,
it.
it's nice to be part of it. So you feel like you're doing your due diligence just to follow the process. But I get it. This has been a weird year.
It has been a weird year.
Yeah.
Two, I just tried to figure out what we'll have teacher negotiations coming up this year. We're not sure about kind of where unemployment's going to be next year and if we have funding for that. So I tried to build a cushion into that. So there is additional cushions built into there, and I'm hoping to increase our
Sounds good.
our fund, but I also want to be realistic that we don't know with the rising costs and when they're gonna finally level out would be great.
Thank you.
Thanks for putting that extra time.
Yeah,
Sorry, it took me a little bit longer than, but we got her.
that's good.
Anything else? I don't want to pass on this because of its importance. Okay. With that, then we'll move to approve the fiscal year 24 proposed budget as put forth in enclosure 13 and 14 in the packet. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Item I, approve the 4-year lease with Apple Services for the purchase of MacBooks. That's enclosure number 15. Is there a motion?
So move Benson.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Benson and seconded by member Jacobs to approve a 4-year lease with Apple Services for purchase of MacBooks. Any discussion, questions?
Thank goodness we don't have to read it.
Yeah.
I will just highlight too on this, it just saves us from having to spend the money out all at once, and 0% interest, so it doesn't cost us any money, and it keeps some of our funds in our bank account than having to spend a large amount at one time. And the buyout at the end is $1, so.
Any other questions on the contract? Okay, let's move for a vote. So all in favor of approving the 4-year lease with Apple Services for the purchase of MacBooks, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries to approve the 4-year lease with Apple Services for the MacBooks purchase. All right, item J, approve membership for the 2023 through 2024 school year to the Minnesota State High School League. That's enclosure 16 in our packet.
This is an annual item.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
It's been moved by member Johnson and seconded by member Sheehan to approve the membership for the 2023 through 2024 school year to the Minnesota State High School League. Any discussion or questions?
I got ahead of myself. Again, this is an annual item. It comes up every year, so.
Okay. Nothing else, then we'll move to vote on that. All in favor to approve the membership to the 2023-24 school year to the Minnesota State High School League, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item K, that would be to approve the 2023 through 2024 school musical admission prices. So the proposal would be that students in grades K through 12 are a cost for a single ticket of $5, and adults are a single ticket for $10, or an adult 3-day admission for $25 to the musical.
So move Jacobs.
Is there a second?
Second Benson.
Been moved by member Jacobs and seconded by member Benson to approve the 2023-2024 school musical admission prices of $5 for a single ticket for students in grades K through 12, and adults single tickets of $10 or a 3-day admission of $25. Any discussion on the item? I'll just point out the musical committee wanted this done now so they can get their advertising out and stuff printed and be able to move on time for the October musical.
Sounds good.
So
Great.
that's why it's on the agenda.
Need to think ahead.
Okay, with that, we'll move to vote. All in favor of the approving the 2023 through 2024 school musical admission prices as printed on the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. We are now on to item L. Approve the property and casualty vendor for the 2023 through 2024 school year. We need action for that.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Bucktoll to approve the property and casualty vendor for the 2023 through 2024 school year. Jim, I believe you were holding off. to
Yes, I
fill
was.
us in.
And we intentionally didn't have anything on there because what happened is at the beginning of June or maybe the very end of May, we received word that our insurance with EMC was going to go up by at least 25%, which that put us in a little bit of a panic. as it so happened though, I had spoken with Jeremy Frank from Hometown Bank before I even received this email, and he said, "Hey, if you ever need a quote for insurance, let me know." So I called him. We worked with the Hometown insurance company, and they worked hard to get us another quote. In the end, I'm going to be making the recommendation that we do stay actually with Johannes Agency and the EMC policy for property and casualty, and then I'm going to recommend that we go with Hometown Insurance Agency for the workers' compensation policy. The reason that I'm recommending that we stay with the current EMC through Johannes is the policies weren't exactly apples to apples. The policy with Hometown Insurance, and I should say they are writing for Hanover, and the Hanover policy, it increased the big one was the increases of our deductibles for water damage went from this year with EMC, they're $2,500. They were putting us at $25,000. And their policy, their overall policy did come in at about $30,000 less than the EMC policy, but the big one, the deductible, and we've used that deductible or that part of the policy 3 times in the last 5 years. It could very easily happen again, and if our deductible is $25,000 and we're only saving $30,000 to begin with, two things in a year could really hurt us. If you remember the library situation where the pipe failed, flooded the library, that was a $50,000 quote right there, or claim. We had another one where there was a water leak down by the art room and filled up underground there, and that ended up being a $45,000 claim. So the policy with Hanover, they said that if we could show that we had replaced all of our plumbing, they could probably knock that down. I'm like, well, yeah, that's not going to happen for a little while here anyway. And that just further cemented this in my brain that our pipes aren't healing over time. They're just going to get worse. So I think it just makes sense to stick with our current policy. EMC, they've paid our claims on time. They've been easy to work with after the pool fire. And in the end, again, there's other things that weren't being quite apples to apples compared. So it's not going to save us any money in the long run, or potentially could harm us in the long run. So once again, I'm going to recommend that for item L, that we approve Johannes Agency for our property casualty vendor, and then I'm going to recommend that for our workers' comp that we do switch and go to Hometown Insurance, because they're going to save us about $2,500 over our current policy. So that's nice.
So I would entertain a motion to amend the motion to add Johannes Agency after vendor.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Todd seconded it.
What?
Todd did.
No, he moved.
I need
Oh,
a
you moved
second.
He didn't make a he
I'll
entertained
move.
the motion.
I
Sounds
will
good.
entertain
I'll
the motion.
second it.
The chair can't make a motion when you're running the
Yep.
meeting. So, yeah. Okay, so, member Sheehan made a motion with member Bowen seconding it to insert Johannes Agency after vendor to the main motion. Any discussion on the amendment? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote on the amendment to insert Johannes Agency after vendor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the amendment passes. So the main motion now reads, approve the property and casualty vendor Johannes Agency for the 2023 through 2024 school year. And any further discussion on that main motion? Okay, we'll now vote on the main motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to approve the property and casualty vendor Johannes Agency for the 2023 through 2024 school year. Okay, item M would be to approve the workers' comp insurance vendor Hometown Insurance for the 2023 through 2024 school year.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Johnson and seconded by member Sheehan to approve the workers' comp insurance vendor Hometown Insurance for the 2023 through 2024 school year. Any discussion or questions? Okay, Jim kind of covered both in under one. So with that, then we'll move to vote on that motion to approve the workers' comp insurance vendor Hometown Insurance for the 2023 through 2024 school year. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to approve the workers' comp insurance vendor Hometown Insurance for the 2023-2024 school year. All right, last item under new business, I'm glad it is because we didn't need an O through a Z, is to authorize the business manager and or superintendent to sign all activity account contracts and approve blanket coverage for the 2023 through 2024 school year.
So moved, Bookto.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Buckle and seconded by member Sheehan to authorize business manager and or superintendent to sign all activity account contracts and approve blanket coverage for the 2023 through 2024 school year. Any discussion?
Again, this is an annual item.
Any other discussion? Okay, we'll proceed to vote on authorizing our business manager and or superintendent to sign all activity account contracts and approve blanket coverage for the 2023-24 school year. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. We've approved the blanket coverage authorization. All right. We are now on to our upcoming dates. So the first one would be a facilities committee meeting at 3 p.m. here in the district office on July 6, 2023. Second date would be also on July 6, 2023, and that will be a special school board meeting at 5 p.m. here in the district office. And the third item will be a regular meeting on July 24th at 7 p.m. here in the district office. So put those on your calendar if they're not already on your calendar. And we're on now to section 11. That's adopt a resolution to recognize outstanding achievement. So I'm going to read the resolution. Member Johnson introduced the following resolution and moved its adoption. This is enclosure 17 in your packet, by the way. Resolution to recognize outstanding achievement by the Bold FFA program. Oh, that needs to be struck. We're just going to say resolution to recognize outstanding achievement. Whereas the school board of Independent School District 2534 adopted a resolution on June 26, 2023 to congratulate the Bold Girls Golf Team on their Section 5A All Academic Award. Further, the Bold Girls Golf Team has been in the top 8 teams in Class A for academics for the second year in a row. Girls golfers Kenna Hendrickson placing second and Tori Osterfeld placing 30th in the Girls State Individual Golf Tournament. Grant Farr placed 48th in the Boys State Individual Golf Tournament. 14 athletes competed in 6 events at the Minnesota State Track Meet. Stevie McMath, Ryan King, Hudson Vasika, Chase Huben from BLHS, and Owen Baumgartner as alternate and Jack Gross as alternate competed in the 4x100 relay with an overall second place finish in Class A. Stevie McMath, Ryan King, Jack Gross, Chase Huben from BLHS, and Owen Baumgartner as alternate and Hudson Vasika as alternate competed in the 4x200 with an overall third place finish in Class A. Lainey Brawley, Mari Ryberg, Ellison Milbrandt from BLHS, and Lily Huben from BLHS. Anna Gardine as an alternate and Jamie Novotny from BLHS as an alternate competed in the 4x200 with an overall 16th place finish. Ryan King completed in long jump and had an overall 4th place finish. Anna Gardine competed in pole vault and ended with a 14th place finish. Stevie McMath competed in the 200 meter and finished 15th place. The following students competed in Alexandria at the state clay target competition. Students Caden Ball, Carson Edwards, Donald Fank, and Ava Schloman. They all shot above average, but none of them advanced past the initial 2 rounds. The school board commends you on your hard work and dedication to your sport team, program, and school. The motion for adoption of the foregoing resolution was duly seconded by member
Jacobs.
And upon vote being taken therein, the following vote is in favor thereof. Member Buckle.
Aye.
Member Johnson.
Aye.
Member Bowen.
Aye.
Member Benson.
Aye.
Member Jacobs.
Aye.
Member Sheehan.
Aye.
And Member Frank is also an aye in favor of the resolution. And no members voted absent, and the resolution was declared and adopted. It will be signed by Tracy Buckle, School Board Clerk. So congratulations to those athletes. Any comments on the resolution?
Congratulations.
All right. Okay, we now have another resolution to do, and that would be, Amy will have the copy. Would be a resolution to acknowledge and accept gifts, grants, and bequests. That's enclosure number 18 in our packet, and we're going to be accepting the grant from Education Minnesota Foundation for Excellence in Teaching and Learning in the amount of $1,052.
Very cool.
For flexible seating in the ag classroom. So the resolution for acceptance of gifts. Member
Benson.
introduced the following resolution and moved its adoption. Whereas Education Minnesota Foundation for Excellence in Teaching and Learning has generously donated $1,052 to the Bold Ag Classroom for flexible seating. Therefore, be it resolved by the Bold School Board to gratefully accept these gifts. The motion for adoption of the foregoing resolution was duly seconded by member,
Jacobs.
thank you, Teresa, member Jacobs, and upon vote being taken thereon, the following voted in favor thereof. Member Buchtel.
Aye.
Member Bowen.
Aye.
Member Johnson.
Aye.
Member, I'm not looking up, member Benson.
Aye.
Member Jacobs.
Aye.
Member Sheehan.
Aye.
And member Frank is an aye as well. No members voting against. The foregoing resolution was approved this 26th day of June, 2023. And it'll be signed by Tracy as school board clerk. All right, with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Are we gonna add for the next committee or the next meeting for cameras for buses? Were you gonna add that? Or that doesn't be done tonight?
No, I'll work with Joe.
Okay,
I got to work to.
Roger. All right.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Buckle and seconded by member Bowen to adjourn at, it'll be 9:00 and we finish the vote at 9:00 PM. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries to adjourn at 9:00 PM.
I have a question for you. Are you, is this superintendent policy?
What's that?
like,
The I-5.
contract?
Oh, yeah, I wanna
You
see
guys
that.
met on that?
Yeah,
By
I wanna
law,
see
we
this.
have
What is it?
done
That I-5.
right?
I don't have it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
I'll go backwards because
Okay.
these are the pictures of them.
Well, if you wanna come for half an hour.
And of course, you can't tell the kids because their faces are all
There is a chance I won't be here next
So
week.
what do they do here? They
They're
just-
just, well, they have a person, but there's a big machine or wind thing that pushes them up or whatever.
so they kind of get the.
Baseball gear, or I don't know if that's-
Oh, I wanted to do that. I know, that's what I was gonna say. Did you try it?
I wasn't on,
And
I
it's just gonna
don't
get
go on field trips because I get
What are we doing?
busted.
Just walking around looking?
So I stay
No,
back
we
with the
have
half-day
something
kids.
Where your suit?
How fun is that?
My suit?
And Liz-
My Speedo?
It
For
seemed
sure.
that
Oh, yeah.
the kids
You
that
can walk around the
I
pool.
walk around and they're like, oh, I got this. They were the more a bit scared. Where the kids that just were like, go with it, just went and
My brother
just,
called me.
Fun.
so.
My brother.
Oh, and then we had
So
superhero.
awesome.
That concern you?
Yeah,
They do.
they had a lot of fun.
That's very cool.